Okay, here's another card idea that I absolutely love. This gal on the internet, and I wish I had her link. She did all of this with stamps, and I like the idea of what she did. She used, this is one of my finished cards. She used a clear block and put some ink on it. In this case, it was stamp pad ink, 2 colors. And she just added a mist of water and then applied it to the cardstock. And this would have been when it was 1 sheet. And then you can see it's elevated. And then she stamped a tree or something in front of it. Believe it or not, I did the same thing using my sketch pen. I had the block with the ink on it on plain old cardstock, and then I had this in the machine. I probably did 4 at one time because it's a lot easier. And then I had my pen just sketch an image over the ink. And then I cut out the square and elevated it a little bit, as you might be able to see. I don't know, but it makes a very interesting, there it is, I think you can see it. Makes a really interesting card. So that by cutting it, part of the design is cut out, but it leaves a little edge of the original ink block. Okay, so I did this one and this one. You can see as I turn it sideways. I love the look it gives you. I haven't added sentiments yet, but I did end up using a couple of different colors for borders. And this one, by the way, again, all of these black images were done with my sketch pen after I had inked the card. And then lastly, I cut out the square. This one looks like maybe I didn't do a perfectly square job here, but it's close enough. But these images were all done with a pen, not a printer, not a stamp, but my pen. Here's a couple that I have not put together yet. This is how it would look. Yeah, see, this is how I put the ink down first using a acrylic block and spritzed it with some, wiped some color from a ink pad. You could do it with watercolor. You don't even need to use an ink pad. And then before it's cut, I had this image sketched. So now all I have to do is find some borders and elevate it a little bit. It'll be like that. You see? And it just creates just a lovely card. And here's another one. Again, this scene, all of the black is done with the pen on my Cameo. Put some ink down in a nice square. Put this card into your Cameo and design a proper sketch. And it's ideal if the sketch goes off of the block a little bit, like down in here, and this one here down over here. It makes a really much more interesting design. Keep that in mind. And there again, the pen did all the work, and it does a fantastic job, I think. I love using my pens. The ink goes forever. I can create any design I want, make it any size I want, using the Silhouette software, as opposed to a stamp, which is costly, ink from your printer, which is costly, or if you try to do it through the printer. And then, of course, using the Silhouette software, you can get any design, any size and shape that you want. So I hope this helps. I believe I have another video attached that shows maybe the pen actually doing the sketching, so you can get a feel for it. Well, that's all I have for today. Okay, I have used my sketching pen, which I have kind of, I guess it's called jury-rigged. I have it in this holder, but it was wobbling. I happen to have some plastic toothpicks sitting there by the desk and just wedged them in like splints for a broken leg. But anyway, it stopped the wobbling and made a better print, a better sketch. And I love doing this. I like it better than printing. I have great problems with printer. Plus this cardstock is very thick, so I'm not even sure it would go through the printer. I have made previous videos on sketching, and in one of them I had the pros and cons of using my sketch pen. It certainly is cheaper because those ink cartridges are terribly expensive, and they don't last long, especially when you use a lot of black. So I just wanted to show, and I believe I can watercolor over this and it won't smudge, which a printer, depending on what printer, I have an inkjet. I think it probably wouldn't smudge because I have an Epson, but many inkjet printers will smudge if you try to use water-based material over them. At any rate, I have this sketch. Now this one here I did not sketch fill. I just have this great sketch and I just love it. I found another old one that I had in my file, and then I decided I would do some sentiments. Now this first one, which has a big gap in it, and the reason it did is my pen, when it got started, was not far enough, and I caught it right away, well, almost right away, but alas, it did not get that first word, which in the case of the machine was the word R, and part of the double line in the S. But anyway, it went ahead and did the others that I had. Now the ones at the bottom I sketched filled. I have videos on how I sketch fill using the concentric circle internal, let's see, I guess it's an internal fill at any rate, and I changed the setting to 0.004, and I get a very nice, pretty nice fill. And then I thought, well, this card would be pretty if I just had a card and then I just hand painted some scenery inside there. It would be interesting, and then just add a sentiment. So I love using my sketch pen. I can use many different varieties. I don't happen to like the silhouette pens at all. They don't last long. Even if you find one that works pretty good for you, they sure don't. You don't get much mileage out of them. Whereas a regular ballpoint pen, the mileage is unbelievable. I can sketch to my heart's content over and over again, and I don't run out of ink. So anyway, for those of you, and frankly, what I do is I set it up for cut. I was changing it to sketch in the send box, but I find I get maybe better results but if I just stick the pen in the holder. In this case, it's the gray one on the Cameo 4. So if I just set it up for cut on plain cardstock, which is what this is, I get pretty darn good results. So there, that's it.